Okay, so you've got a dog in New Orleans and you want to find a great trainer. Let's talk about how to do just that. Because the right training can make all the difference in really enjoying the city together. Everything from a quiet neighborhood walk to hanging out on a lively restaurant patio.
I love this quote because it is just so true, right? A dog in New Orleans has to deal with a lot. I mean, streetcars rumbling past, the constant smell of vignettes. It's a whole sensory experience. The goal is to get your dog confident with all of it, which, believe me, makes your life together much, much easier and a lot more fun.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, what's so different about having a dog here in NOLA? Then we'll get into the different training styles, how to actually pick a trainer, the right questions to ask, and then the fun part, where to go practice all those new skills around town.
First up, a dog's life in NOLA. Let's really get into what it means to get your dog ready for the Crescent City, because the environment here is a huge piece of the puzzle.
Just think about it. You could be walking down a sidewalk in the French Quarter and it is packed, or a second line band suddenly comes around the corner. You've got streetcars, jazz music spilling out of bars, sudden thunderstorms. It's a lot. And that's exactly why finding a trainer who gets New Orleans is so beneficial. They know what your dog is actually dealing with every single day.
So, with all that in mind, how do you actually go about training them? What's the best approach? Because there's definitely no single right way to do it. The best fit really comes down to your dog, what you're trying to achieve, and just, your day-to-day life.
Let's break down these different formats. For example, if your dog goes nuts barking at the window every time someone walks by your house, well, in-home training makes a ton of sense, right? You're working on the problem right where it happens. Or maybe you want to walk down Magazine Street without your arm getting pulled off. That's where private lessons can be great for that one-on-one focus. And group classes, perfect for getting your dog used to other dogs in a controlled way. And when you look at what people are focused on, it's no surprise that basic obedience and leash pulling are at the top of the list. I mean, these are the fundamentals. If you can get these down, everything else, like going to a dog-friendly brewery or just walking around your neighborhood, gets so much easier. Okay, so you've got a handle on the what. Now for the who. How do you choose the right professional? We're going to talk about their credentials, their methods, and of course, the cost. All right, this is a big one. The goal should always be positive reinforcement. Seriously, modern effective training is all about rewarding your dog for doing the right thing, using treats, praise, whatever they love. It's about teaching them what to do instead of just punishing them for what not to do. This builds trust, and honestly, it just works better. So you're looking at a trainer's website, and you see this string of letters after their name. What does that even mean? Well, those are certifications. They're a really good way to see that a person has put in the work and has a certain level of knowledge. Let's take CPDTK. This is a super common one. Basically, it means the trainer has passed a pretty tough exam on things like learning theory and how to teach skills effectively. It's a solid credential to look for. And then there's this one, CBCKA. This is more specialized. If your dog is dealing with bigger issues, like real fearfulness, or they're reactive to other dogs, this certification tells you the professional has extra knowledge in those specific, more serious behavior problems. Okay, let's talk money. What's this going to cost? For just a single one-on-one lesson here in the New Orleans area, usually about an hour to 90 minutes, you're typically looking at somewhere in this range. And that single session price can look pretty different when you buy a package. As you can see, group classes for a few weeks might be a couple $100, while a board and train, where your dog lives with a trainer, can be thousands. My advice? Always, always ask what's included in that price, so there are no surprises. All right, you've narrowed it down to a few trainers. Now it's time to actually talk to them. Having some good questions prepared is going to help you figure out if they're the right fit for you and your dog. I'd recommend asking these 5 things. First, how do they keep it positive and not stressful for the dog? You want to hear about their methods. Second, ask them straight up. How are you going to tailor this for my life in New Orleans? Then, how will you know if you're making progress? And what's my homework between sessions? And finally, just ask them. Have you worked with dogs in the city before? You want someone who gets it. So the trainer can give you the tools, but the real work happens after the lesson is over. You've got to practice. Putting those new skills to the test out in the real world is everything. So let's talk about where you can do that around the parish. First things first, you gotta know the leash laws. It's pretty simple. In New Orleans, your dog needs to be on a leash in any public space. Sidewalks, city park, Audubon Park, the Greenway, the Quarter, all of it. The only place they can be off-leash legally is inside a designated, fenced dog park. And we've got some great spots to practice. City Park is perfect for working on recall, come in a safe, fenced area. Crescent Park is great for practicing leash skills with all the joggers and bikes going by. Want to work on focus? Take your dog to Audubon Park and practice ignoring all those ducks and squirrels. And the Lafitte Greenway is just a fantastic, long, straight path for practicing that nice, loose leash walk. Because really, isn't this the whole point? To help your dog become comfortable and confident enough to be a true New Orleans local, right there with you, enjoying the city. Good luck with your search. Having a well-trained dog is just going to make everything, from a simple walk around the block to meeting up with friends at a cafe, so much more relaxed and fun for you, for your dog, and for everyone else too.